So what's up, guys? It's your girl Infod.monae, and I'm here today with my cousin
Kinzy.
So today I'm coming at you guys with a juicy story time. So we're going to be talking about those exes from hell. Listen, have y'all ever had a crazy situation where your ex-boyfriend, Sidechick, come to you talking about him like, this girl really tried to be my friend? Can y'all believe that? Like, you gonna so if you guys want to see this video, then please. Looking your eyes to the stages.
Real ass nigga, give a fuck about a bitch. It is what it is, this some 5-star dick. She a big old freak, it's a must. We someone. Maybe we can be on chill tonight.
Alright, so let's go ahead and we're gonna get into the story. So I had been dating this guy. For the sake of the video, I am not gonna be using real names because yeah, I just don't want people to know about this. But so I had been dating this guy or whatever, and a lot of people had been kind of like telling me him and this girl was talking, but of course, you know, not really wanting to believe it. I'm like, yeah, I want to see it for myself. So eventually this girl like started following me on social media, and I'm just like, this is odd because this is the same girl that people had been telling me that he had been going with. So she followed me on Facebook. She started following me on Facebook or whatever. So then I began to see her around like in school and stuff or whatnot. And she eventually kind of like reached out to me and was like, yeah, you know, you go with such and such, right? And I'm just like, you brave. Never even mentioning, like, you know what I'm saying, like people had been telling me like this was who he supposed to have been dealing with or whatever. So time had passed, and this other girl that I knew, she was kind of like, I guess she was kind of like the cross between me and the other girl. Like she was kind of sitting in the middle, and she wanted me to kind of like be friends with them. So then she was like, yeah, you know, he is off the chain, da 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 da. He had been talking to the girl this whole entire time. So eventually we began to be around some of the same people or whatever, and the girl began to tell him. So the awkward thing about the situation is that this guy that I had met through my best friend ended up knowing this girl. Y'all ain't gonna never believe what this dude told me. He told me that he had dropped the girl off at my boyfriend's house.
Boy, if you don't...
Yes, and I'm just like, hold on, wait 1 minute. So you mean to tell me?
So you friend, the guy that you cool, like friends with.
Yes.
He had to drop the...
He dropped the gem on me, telling me that he had dropped the girl off at my boyfriend's house. He was like, so I'm thinking to myself, like, no, you couldn't have. He was like, I was like, no, because he told me he would sleep that weekend. He was like, no, he won't sleep because I dropped her off. I'm like, hold on, wait 1 minute. Because it kind of started adding up and it started making sense. Like, he won't answering the phone or whatever. And like hours and hours later, after the fact that the dude had told me he picked her up, that's when he started back answering the phone. So I'm like, hold on, wait 1 minute, because y'all playing way too many games with me at this point.
Oh, snap.
So I was like, I was like, you sure? It might have not been him. You might have dropped her off. You might have not dropped her off at his house. He was like, no. So he started describing the boy house to me. And I was like, no. So I kind of like put the guy to the test a little bit, and I was like, oh, okay, well, you know what I'm saying? Like, tell me some things that would, so that I would know that he was telling the truth about the guy's house or whatever, right? So then, like, once he began to explain it or whatever, I was like, bro. Like, for real. So then, after the fact that the guy told me the time, like, he had picked the girl up from his house, that's when he started texting me back, and I'm like, bro, it's all making sense now. Like, it's all making sense or whatever. But let me tell you something. Like, this dude, I don't know what it was, but this guy, he was crazy. He had something going on, and he was a good liar. But his whole thing was, I was asleep. Whenever I caught him up in something, it was always I was asleep.
Their favorite line.
I was asleep. Like, yeah. But so what you think about that? What you think about that?
I think it's crazy how how he knew, like, the guy, like, when you asked him.
Ironically enough, like, he was asking me, he was like, oh, okay, so who your boyfriend? Because he had asked me if I had a boyfriend, and I was like, yeah, you know what I'm saying, my boyfriend is such and such and such, and he was like, oh, oh shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, I had just dropped my homegirl off.
Like, how small is the world?
How
for that
small
to happen?
is the world for something like that to happen? And I'm
y'all
just,
randomly talking, and next thing you know, oh wait, I just dropped my homegirl off.
Exactly. And I'm just like, okay, you know, like,
imagine the feeling you get from this dude telling you, like, hell,
boy, my blood was boiling. My blood was boiling. Like, I couldn't listen. Comment down in the comment section and let me know, have y'all ever experienced anything like this? And then let me tell you, have y'all ever got to that point where y'all texting somebody and y'all heated, especially in a situation like this or whatever, y'all texting somebody and they don't text you back? Boy, let me tell you.
The anticipation, the wait.
The anticipation is real. And it was so crazy because I was like, you know what? I ain't even finna, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna let this go because he might not. Listen, I'm trying to convince myself, like, oh, he might not be even telling the truth. Whole time I'm thinking in my mind, like, he know too much for him not to know that this is, like, this what went on. So when I asked him about it or whatever, he was like, I was asleep, you know what I'm saying? You know I was asleep. I had told you I had went to sleep or whatever. Whole entire time, you know what I'm saying? Like, time goes by, whatnot, and the little bit of signs start pointing out left and right with him and this girl. Like, this girl would not go away for some reason. And I'm just like, okay, if you're not dealing with this girl.
So before all this happened, the girl, like, she was trying to get to know who you were. Yeah. Check out her competition, basically, because you said she started trying to follow you first. Yep. Then, but you said also she had came up to you or something, right? Yeah, so I eventually,
the crazy part about it was I eventually ended up talking to this girl, and she was like, yeah, you know, he had told me that he had a girlfriend, so he had told her that he had a girlfriend, but that I wasn't from here or whatever. So he had said something about, like, I was from Miami or something, and I'm like, Miami? What the hell? Like, you know, I ain't even never been to Miami, first of all. But anyway, so I was just like, I don't know, maybe she could have been lying or whatever. Anyway, the whole entire situation was kind of crazy because it was like, this whole entire time he telling me, like, oh, no, it ain't nothing with me and this girl, this, that, and third. And the whole entire time, him and this girl had actually been talking for years, like, for years.
The whole entire time.
The whole entire time. Yep.
But she had the nerve to sit up there and try to follow you and all that.
Yeah. And it's so crazy because, like...
But that's the world we live in, especially when we young.
Yep.
Young or not, just the world we live in anyway.
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
It's worse now. Social media make it so easy for everybody to just be out here pimping. But
yep. And do you know what?
But when you so young, some of the stuff we sit back and look, like, the guys won't even work. Like, what the hell is we thinking about?
Yeah,
like,
it definitely won't worth it because I was thinking to myself, like, you know what? If my only thing was, if I would have knew what was up, I would have, you know what I'm saying? I would have genuinely went ahead and just left the situation alone because it had begun to be too much after that. You know what I'm saying? Like, for somebody who I'm just meeting, like, I had just met that guy through my friend, for somebody that I'm just meeting to be able to come up and tell me something about my partner, I'm just like, okay, this right here is beyond me. You want to talk about humiliating? That was very humiliating for somebody to be able to come back and like, oh, I just dropped my homegirl out there. Like, look, that's just like we just hopped up and went to the store. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I just scooped my homegirl up. I just dropped her.
Cool.
Like, it's just cool like that. So I'm just like, I don't know whether it was a situation where he did it to get a reaction out of me, but he definitely got a reaction out of me because I was texting 100 miles an hour. Once I found the information out, like, where were you really at? You know what I'm saying? But then I began to sit back and I think about it, like, now, me being 26, I'm like, thank God for growth, but also thank God that I'm no longer dealing with him or that situation because, nah, it wasn't worth it. Looking back on it, it definitely wasn't worth it because I allowed myself to look like a fool knowing, like, after a while I put the pieces together and people had been bringing me stuff back all the time. Yeah, he definitely was not worth it.
At all.
He definitely wasn't worth it at all.
Let me tell you, the new side chick, I'm telling you, the type of side chicks that, you know what I'm saying, they don't mind being a side chick. They know they're a side chick. They want to be friends and then check out the competition when it comes to the main chick. I'm like...
Oh, yeah, because you know what? I was like, bro, that's some real weirdo type. That's a real weirdo, like, for real. And listen, hey, if they just so happen to come across the video, they're going to know exactly who they are because at the end of the day, I'm just like, listen... if you know about a person and you sitting back and you trying to reach out being friends to somebody, how weird is that? Like, it wasn't even on no type of deal where she like, oh, I'm gonna tell that he doing this stuff. Like, nah,
she just
this girl genuinely wanted to like communicate and talk with me. And yeah,
it's crazy. Like a lot of these side chicks, they don't know their roles now. And I think the guys really want to be dealing with a side chick who all in your main chick. We just side chicking anybody nowadays. Side chick these days that y'all be getting. I'm gonna tell you the truth. Just wait till y'all hear part 2. So part 2 of this will be my story time.
So make sure y'all go follow her on her social media pages. Give them your social media account so that they can follow you. And make sure you guys go like, share, comment, and subscribe to her YouTube channel so that you can stay tuned for part 2 because, baby, it's going to be juicy.
And she'll have it in the description box, but it'll be at Kinzy Serbin Presents. Just check it out in her description box. And also for those who will be on my channel, I'll have hers in my description box.
All right. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. Make sure you drop down in the comments and let me know if you ever experienced this before, or let me know what you think about this story time, and if you want some future stories, baby, I'm gonna come through with that juice. Okay, so don't forget to comment, like, share, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, stay tuned. Bye.